In this video, I'm going to teach you how to train your body for better hip-shoulder separation in the javelin throw. Do you want to take your training to the next level? Download the Jacked Javelin mobile app, where you have access to dozens of free resources that cover topics such as nutrition, arm care, mobility, plyometrics, and most importantly, javelin technique. We also have our free community, which connects thousands of throwers from all around the world to communicate and help each other out. You will also have the option to purchase one of our training programs written directly by me with video demonstrations of each exercise telling you exactly how many sets and reps to do, as well as the option to track your metrics so you can keep track of your progress. See you on the inside. The reason that hip-shoulder separation is so important is because the body acts like a slingshot, where we want to make sure that our hips are forward and our chest is closed off so that before the throw, we are able to get the hips engaged, the core engaged, the chest engaged, and then our arm will come through. So what we want to avoid doing is having the back hip and the shoulder come through at the same time, because then there's no separation when you go to throw. You want to be back with the arm and then forward with the hips so that you're able to get that tension across your core and chest, which will power the throw. We want to eliminate as much stress on the elbow and shoulder as much as possible. And by prioritizing power in the kinetic chain and hip-shoulder separation, you'll be able to throw much further and stay injury-free. When you're looking at hip-shoulder separation, you're looking at the hips, the spine, the chest, the lats, and the shoulder. Each piece of the puzzle needs to be very mobile in order to get into the right positions at the right time to hit the perfect power position and use the kinetic chain effectively. To get better hip mobility, be sure to try bear sit iso holds, side split push-ups, and 90-90 swivel. Then, to work on your spine mobility, work on spinal flexion to extension and overhead side bends. Once you establish the spinal flexion to extension and overhead side bends, you are going to add some weight to the movement to turn that mobility movement into a strength through length movement, using the barbell Jefferson curl to really load the spine and get a greater stretch in the hamstrings, as well as a plate overhead side bend to really work on moving the spine side to side and really stretching out your lats. Strength through length is a concept that bridges the gap between mobility and strength training and uses weight and gravity to get your body into deeper ranges of motion than what you currently have. In order to get better chest, lat, and shoulder mobility, try shoulder swings with the javelin and javelin in the ground exploration. This will really help you be able to explore your shoulder and chest and lat mobility, because the javelin is very stiff, so that actually is a lot harder to use than using a resistance band. Once each piece of the puzzle is mobile and dialed in, you are going to try the thrower stretch. The thrower stretch is the most important position to work on hip-shoulder separation, because not only is it unilateral with our block leg out in front of us and our back foot really soft behind us, we are also leaning our torso back and then rotating our spine to the side. So in this movement, we're stretching out every piece of the puzzle. This is by far the best mobility exercise for throwers. So I'm gonna be taking you through a progression where we start on the ground, kneeling and holding it. Then we move into the T position, where our arms are out to the side and we're moving up and down, focusing on keeping our center of mass nice and stacked. Then we'll move into rotating back and getting that backward C position in our spine to really keep our chest proud into the sky as we rotate around and tap our heel and then rotate back around to the front. Then the final boss is the thrower stretch iso hold, which we're just holding this position for as long as we can and really trying to find that balance and stability throughout the movement. Thanks for tuning into this video. I hope you learned something, and be sure to check out our other video where we go over the best drills to improve hip-shoulder separation in your throw.